on this Friday night.
We're advocating for them very, very aggressively.
With 2 Canadians detained in China, the foreign minister takes her concerns to Washington. Did high-level talks do anything to untangle a serious diplomatic knot?
He knows the truth. I know the truth.
Michael Cohen says Donald Trump knew those hush money payments were wrong. But the U.S. president's former lawyer may not be his biggest legal problem.
The child spent 12 hours in the operating room.
And our Radio-Canada colleagues get access to a very special surgery. Doctors trying to help a little girl find a normal life. This is The National. In the 2 weeks since a Chinese corporate superstar was arrested in Vancouver, Canada has been a punching bag for one global giant and seemingly iced out by another. But today, a little progress, at least on one front. Foreign Affairs Minister Chrystia Freeland met with U.S. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo today. They discussed the 2 Canadians held in China, Michael Kovrig, who has now spoken with Canadian consular officials, and Michael Spavor, who hasn't yet. And while Pompeo did not go as far as Freeland might have liked, he did offer a measure of support. But as Katie Simpson tells us, Canada probably shouldn't expect much more right now.
There were some uncomfortable conversations around this table. The first face-to-face meeting between Canada and the U.S. since the dramatic escalation of tensions with China. When they emerged from 2 hours of talks, Canada's closest ally offered up tempered public support.
The unlawful detention of 2 Canadian citizens is unacceptable. They ought to be returned.
The Secretary of State didn't go any further in offering to help Canada navigate its diplomatic dilemma, which began after Canada arrested Huawei's CFO at the request of the U.S. Justice Department, and became worse when Donald Trump said he'd interfere in the case to improve his relationship with Beijing. The Foreign Affairs Minister criticized those comments behind closed doors.
The rule of law and extradition issues ought not ever to be politicized or used as tools to resolve other issues.
Chrystia Freeland says Ottawa is seized with helping the 2 Canadians held by the Chinese.
We are being absolutely clear on standing up for our citizens who have been detained, trying to figure out why, trying to work with China to demonstrate that this is not acceptable.
Repeating that message is one of few options Canada has to calm the situation, according to this former Foreign Affairs advisor.
It is important that we maintain a channel of communication open with China. We don't want this situation to escalate out of control.
Friends of the detained Canadians, including this former diplomat who knows Michael Spavor, are now trying to be patient in light of so much uncertainty.
I would say he's a very resilient personality. My greatest concern would be that the resolution of the case drags on.
So, Katie, this has been a bit of a week. Any relief on the tension heading into the weekend?
For Canadian consular staff in China, absolutely not. I'm told the only issue the embassy is focusing on right now is getting support to those 2 detained Canadians. It's essentially become a round-the-clock operation at this point. Here in Ottawa, there might be some time to regroup and find new ways to try to get Canada's message to resonate in Beijing that the government won't intervene in the Huawei court case.
All right, Katie, you know we'll be watching. Thanks very much.
Thanks.
But while the U.S. seems open to seeing things through Canada's eyes, China remains cold and unforgiving, and that may explain why Tourism Minister Melanie Joly will not be off to Beijing to celebrate the end of a year when both countries promoted travel to the other, even though she was planning to go as recently as yesterday.
It's part of the plan, and we are having good conversations.
Thank you. Joly's spokesperson revealed today Canada and China had mutually agreed to postpone the ceremony, despite an otherwise successful year of promoting tourism between these 2 countries. And while a government minister canceling a trip may not seem like that big a deal, it speaks to something that is. Travel between Canada and China is one key to the relationship. It's worth billions. Greg Rasmussen looks into that side of the story.
For this young Canadian, a trip to China is exciting, a chance to see relatives and the sights.
The Great Wall of China.
Because his mom holds a Chinese passport, she isn't worried about the trip. But she says adult Canadian citizens might have more to worry about.
I will be worried about if he's over 18. So I would like to stay here, wait until the problem gets solved.
While it's largely business as usual for tourists, some suggest caution, in particular for those working for non-governmental organizations.
I think maybe I'd want to take a check on that, verify the status of my NGO in China, and ensure that everything is above board. Why take unnecessary risks at this point?
I think there's always a risk travel to China.
This human rights activist says anyone agitating for political freedoms, Tibet, or religious rights could end up in trouble. More so now when tensions are high.
Chinese government is not predictable because they not follow the rules.
For others, the fear is losing out on the money Chinese tourists spend in Canada. This company has about 1,000 Chinese visitors coming to see the Northern Lights this winter, about 50% more than last year.
Our main concern is for Canada right now because Chinese market is contributing a lot to our economy.
In another sign of China's long reach, some Canadian academics declined our interview request, saying they're afraid of jeopardizing their access to China. One Canadian entrepreneur I spoke with in Beijing said all this is making it tougher to do business with Chinese partners. He says as a gesture, he's considering trading in his phone for one made by Huawei, a symbol that he's committed to continued cooperation. Greg Rasmussen, CBC News, Vancouver.
The travel business might not be the only one affected by all this. News today from one of Canada's biggest clothing brands. Popular winter clothing company Canada Goose was supposed to open its new flagship store in Beijing tomorrow, but that has been delayed, the company says, due to construction reasons, which might be so, but Chinese social media users have been threatening to protest the event. They've also been busy calling for a nationwide Canada Goose boycott. The company's stock has dropped about 20% since Meng Wanzhou was arrested. A new date for the Beijing store opening has not yet been announced. Now, Michael Cohen once boasted he would take a bullet for Donald Trump. Today on U.S. national television, he described his former boss as a liar and a lawbreaker. Sex, lies, and campaign finance violations. It's a tale Cohen has told before, but never directly to the media. As Stephen D'Souza explains, while the courts follow the facts, the court of public opinion is left to choose who to believe, Trump or the fixer who betrayed him.
The man doesn't tell the truth, and it's sad that I should take responsibility for his dirty deeds.
The fallout from the split between Donald Trump and his former fixer, Michael Cohen, continues to be public and ugly.
I am done with the lying. I am done being loyal to President Trump.
In an interview with Good Morning America today, Michael Cohen repeated what he admitted to in court, that Donald Trump directed him to break the law.
Nothing at the Trump Organization was ever done unless it was run through Mr. Trump.
Cohen says Trump knew the payments to Stormy Daniels and Karen McDougal were improper.
He was trying to hide what you were doing, correct?
Correct.
And he knew it was wrong?
Of course.
But Trump, who at first denied even knowing about the payments, says this is all on Cohen.
I never directed him to do anything wrong. Whatever he did on his own.
It's not just Cohen making the accusations, however. In a separate plea deal with New York prosecutors, the National Enquirer admits it worked with the Trump campaign to silence one of the women, undercutting the president's defense.
Not just that he made a mistake, but that he was intentionally involved in a conspiracy to violate the law. That raises this to a totally different level. And so the evidence that we had before the National Enquirer revelations and the evidence that we have now make this a different ballgame.
That's the criminal picture. The strategist says there's also the political side to consider.
Campaign finance violation is likely not significant enough to cause impeachment. What could cause impeachment are the findings, should they be absolutely outrageous, of the Mueller inquiry.
An inquiry that counts Michael Cohen amongst its key sources. So Trump's problems with him are far from over. Stephen D'Souza, CBC News, New York.
Trump or his campaign under investigation? Well, that's nothing new. Robert Mueller's team has been digging for the better part of 2 years, but the U.S. president is now under pressure like never before. So for more, we turn to Washington correspondent Keith Bogue. Keith, effectively, what has changed for the president over the past week?
Well, Adrian, I think what's changed is that the seriousness of the crimes the president is implicated in is becoming clearer every day. It's not simply that he made an illegal and unreported contribution to his campaign with the hush money. It's that he conspired with others and directed them to make illegal payments, and that some of those payments were funneled through a corporation. In a Washington Post op-ed today, lawyer and constitutional scholar George Conway, who also happens to be the husband of Kellyanne Conway, the president's counselor, said this: "The campaign violations here are among the most important ever in the history of this nation. Given the razor-thin win by Trump and the timing of the crimes, they very well may have swung a presidential election." Plus, we're learning about an entirely new investigation that could touch the president. An investigation into the record amount of money raised from private donors for his inauguration last year. It's apparently not clear that money was spent on inauguration events.
Okay, so the words are strong, the investigation sounds strong, but to what degree does this change the conversation in Washington?
Well, first, there's a growing public debate about whether the Justice Department's policy that a sitting president can't be indicted is defensible. The alternative to indictment, of course, is impeachment. So it's also becoming clearer to Democrats that even if it's politically dangerous for them, impeaching this president might soon become their inescapable duty. And of course, they're just 3 weeks away from having control of the House of Representatives, which has the constitutional responsibility for impeachment.
Okay, 2019 is going to be interesting. Keith Bogue in Washington, thanks very much. To another U.S. story that has punctuated headlines on and off the last while, the plight of thousands of Central Americans traveling through Mexico to its northern border. They're fleeing violence at home, seeking a safer life, and the journey ends happily for really very few of them. But nowhere is this more stark than in the case of a 7-year-old Guatemalan girl. She got sick in U.S. custody and then died in hospital of septic shock, fever, and dehydration. As Ellen Morrow explains, many are asking if her guards did enough to help her.
In Guatemala, a family in mourning for a 7-year-old girl. She and her father were detained in New Mexico. 8 hours later, the girl began suffering seizures and died in hospital. She had reportedly not eaten or drank water in days.
It's heart-wrenching is what it is, and my heart goes out to the family.
But Kirsten Nielsen dismissed any claims of negligence or responsibility.
This family chose to cross illegally. What happened here was they were 90 miles away from where we could process them. They came in such a large crowd that it took our Border Patrol folks a couple times to get them all. We gave immediate care.
The death has renewed criticism of the Trump administration's attitudes towards migrants and the facilities where they're held.
These facilities are essentially jails. They're usually a processing desk surrounded by several very rudimentary cells with, say, a metal bench, a half wall, and a toilet. Oftentimes they're incredibly crowded. And, families have told me that there's not actually room for everybody to sleep at the same time. People have to remain standing in order to fit in the cell.
Last month, Customs and Border Patrol detained more than 25,000 people traveling as families. It says its facilities are incompatible with the mass arrivals of parents with children.
This is about their lives.
But this researcher argues officials need to do better and says this of recent caravans traveling to the U.S.
It was just a sense of desperation. And once people heard that the caravan was starting to leave, they would literally just grab their kids and run after the caravan with the clothes on their back.
The girl's father may have had the same idea, a dangerous journey with a tragic ending. Ellen Morrow, CBC News, Washington.
The family of that little girl, whose name was Jacqueline, by the way, apparently crossed illegally, but most people tend to wait their turn. As a result, there's a huge backlog of people waiting to be processed. U.S. officials are restricting applicants at one particular crossing in Tijuana, Mexico, to between just 40 and 100 per day. A lot more than that are trying to get through. This is a situation that has left many migrants frustrated and with another difficult choice to make: Kim Brunhuber caught up with some of those waiting to get across.
Every morning they gather here with their children and their stuff, hoping this will be the day. The day the man with the silver and black ledger reads out their name. Those who are called can proceed to U.S. border security for the initial interview of their asylum claim, but so few are called and so many are waiting. The last person in line, Manuel Orellana. He fled Honduras because he says he accused the government of electoral fraud in their recent elections. I started hiding because the police and state security were following me, he says. I'm here because of a life or death situation. Now, after making the painful 5,000-kilometer journey, he's finally about to add his name to the list. But since the caravans started arriving, the ledger's pages have been filling up fast. There are reportedly more than 5,000 names on the list. And on average every day, only about 60 are called. I feel like I can wait, Orellana says. There's no need for me to jump the border fence. I want to go through the process in the right way. Those here waiting to hear their names insist. They're willing to put themselves through this long nightmare to give their children a shot at the American dream. Others say it's time to wake up. A different list, a different line. Migrants like Franklin Deras from Honduras, hoping for asylum in Mexico. Deras admits, almost sheepishly, that the vision that lured the caravan's migrants to the border was a mirage. Having arrived here in Tijuana, things are a lot different than we thought, he says. We thought they would open the border and welcome us, but it was the exact opposite. So now he and hundreds of others are accepting the Mexican government's offer of a work permit that would allow them to stay for a year. After that, I asked him. You can earn well here, he says, so I wouldn't need to go over to the States. Mexico gave me the opportunity, so maybe I won't leave. Back at the plaza, another lucky migrant's number is up, while Orellana disappears into the crowd. His name, for now, the last one in the ledger. Kim Brunhuber, CBC News, Tijuana, Mexico.
We are following a developing story tonight from Thunder Bay. Police have just announced an arrest in connection with the murder of a 17-year-old. Braden Jacob was from Webekwe First Nation and was in Thunder Bay to access counseling services which are unavailable in his community. He'd been reported missing before his body was found on Sunday in a park. Now, Thunder Bay Police Service now say they have arrested a 22-year-old man. He's facing a charge of second-degree murder. They're not releasing his identity until he appears in court tomorrow. And yet another development in Thunder Bay tonight. The Police Services Board has been disbanded. Earlier this week, a report by an Ontario police watchdog found systemic racism within the city's police force. A temporary administrator has been appointed to function as a sort of interim board.
What we're witnessing today is critical to Canada's development. We're seeing a jointly defined government First Nation process.
And the BC government and First Nations have an agreement to phase out open pen fish farms in the province's Broughton Archipelago over the next 5 years. The decision came as the result of government-to-government consultations. The BC Premier, John Horgan, says this move will ensure economic certainty. At the same time, it will protect the health of wild salmon. Ahead tonight on The National, we'll take you inside a Montreal operating room for an exclusive look at how surgeons are helping a little girl with a rare brain condition. First, though, a look at how Instagram is changing the game for Canadian poets. And a little later, a heartbreaking theft inspires a heartwarming moment for the family of a Newfoundland veteran.
Ooh, everything happened in an instant. I was at work and there were text messages and notifications coming from everywhere. So, yeah, it was fabulous.
These Edmonton fans are not here for a concert. They came to see celebrity poet, yes, celebrity poet, Rupi Kaur on her Canadian tour.
It was literally a book I couldn't put down. It was just really captivating work, and I just couldn't believe how quickly I was enthralled.
I found relatability
in her pieces, and in that I found comfort.
I think she kind of led the way, at least in Canada, with putting some poetry down on paper that was very poetic but also very accessible.
Just a taste of what might explain a huge surge in poetry sales. Stagnant for years, they skyrocketed 138% between 2016 and 2017. Now, Cohen seems to be getting a lot of credit for that, with books topping bestseller lists. But as Tashana Reed explained, she and other poets are using a modern medium, Instagram, to bring inspiration to a traditional form.
Weakened by the very thing that empowers me, I am a tangle of contradictions.
As a university English major, Harmon Kaur says she never saw herself in the literature she was assigned to read.
I realized that there were stories missing, and one of the stories was my story, and for women and people who look like me.
So she started writing poetry, mostly about her identity as a Punjabi Sikh woman.
Social media like Twitter and Instagram, it's actually made it more easy for people of color to put themselves out there.
And that social media following pushed her to publish her own collection of poems. One of her inspirations as a writer, Punjabi Canadian poet Rupi Kaur.
I thought I had to become like a pop star or like an actress to get here.
No.
But somehow poetry is getting me into all
Poetry is the new pop, man.
And before late night, Kaur found her audience through social media. On Instagram, her bite-sized poems about female empowerment, glamorous photos, and minimalist sketches have attracted more than 3 million followers.
Congratulations.
At just 26, she's endorsed by celebrities and designer fashion labels. Even musician Sam Smith tattooed her artwork on his arm.
Your body is not his home. He is a guest.
For these students at Ryerson University, Kaur's work is hitting a nerve.
I think it's raw, I think it's real, I think it talks about femininity.
I don't think her language is so elevated that only scholars can understand it.
As he took her hand, he gave her all she had been waiting for, a shiver down her spine.
Poetry's surge in popularity is good news for poets like Atticus, who has seen success both online and in bookstores. He says he keeps his identity a secret, so readers will focus on the words, but it is also an essential part of his brand.
I'll always wear the mask to remind myself to write what I feel and to be vulnerable and to not make it about the celebrity and recognition.
The BC poet has nearly 1 million followers on Instagram. So popular, young fans tattoo his verses on their bodies.
Instagram has played so well to this kind of resurgence of poetry. It is so bite-sized, it is so consumable. It's just often a sentence, a turn of phrase that makes you feel something.
Insta poetry has been criticized for lacking depth and not being real literature.
I'll tell you one thing, if William Shakespeare was alive today, he would be on Instagram. He would be using that to its full potential.
But for these young creators, it's a style that speaks their language. Tashana Reed, CBC News, Toronto.
Up next on The National. This is a little girl who has a debilitating condition, but she's getting a life-altering surgery in Montreal. So we will take you inside the operating room next. French President Emmanuel Macron paid tribute to the victims of Tuesday's attack at a Christmas market in Strasbourg that left 4 people dead and many others injured. He placed a white rose at a commemorative monument, met with policemen, soldiers, and emergency responders. The Christmas market reopened earlier today under certainly high security. Authorities killed the suspect late yesterday after confronting him on that very street. And U.S. President Donald Trump has named Mick Mulvaney as interim White House Chief of Staff. He will take on the post when John Kelly steps down next month. Mulvaney is a former congressman, and he currently heads the White House's budget office. The announcement comes just hours after former New Jersey Governor Chris Christie withdrew his name from consideration. And here at home, this is key. General Motors says it is trying to find new jobs for workers at its Oshawa, Ontario assembly plant, which is scheduled to close next year. The plant east of Toronto currently employs about 2,500 people. GM says it has identified about 2,000 jobs, many related to the refurbishment of a nuclear power plant in the region. Okay, so here is a little girl who's needed a fighting spirit right from the word go. The story of her first 2 years dominated by a devastating medical condition. Tonight, we get a glimpse of what that's been like and exclusive access into a surgery that may help her live a better quality of life. It comes from our colleagues at the Radio-Canada program Découverte, who have agreed not to use the girl's name in order to protect her family's privacy. But as Charles Tisser shows us, no amount of anonymity can hide the humanity of her story.
Born in North Africa, this little girl is 2 years old. She has a condition called hydrocephalus. 3 liters of fluid have built up in her brain. Her illness wasn't treated in time. When she arrived in Quebec last year, her neurosurgeon placed a shunt in her brain. We can't see it, but the shunt drains fluid from her brain into her stomach. But the harm had already been done. Her brain atrophied under the pressure. It's now 80% smaller than a normal brain. The child's movements are clearly restricted. Her head is so heavy that if she tipped over, she could break her neck.
Le seul vraiment espoir pour donner à cet enfant la chance à une vie avec une qualité raisonnable, c'est une intervention assez drastique pour réduire la taille de son crâne.
The patient's cranium will be reduced by 60% in size.
Il est impossible de donner une forme crânienne normale, et d'ailleurs, ce n'est pas notre objectif. Notre objectif ici, c'est de donner à cet enfant-là le plus de chances d'avoir une vie le plus normale possible.
Already positioning the child is a problem. The team realizes just how heavy her head is. Without a doubt, this will be an exceptional operation for an exceptional case. Once the skull is exposed, the team brings in something that looks like a helmet. It's a cutting guide, the key to the reconstructive surgery. Each piece is cut from the child's skull. The pieces are then assembled on a table beside the patient. The skull is taking shape. After several hours of cutting, the brain is fully exposed. Dr. Alexander Vale begins draining the brain. This is the risky part of the operation. Surgeons drain the ventricles where fluid has built up. Progress is slow. Only a few dozen milliliters of water drained per minute. Going any faster would be unnecessarily risky for the child. In total, only half of the 3 liters of fluid was drained. But why?
Déjà enlever 1,5 litres, c'est beaucoup. Nous, l'inquiétude, c'est si on enlève trop de liquide d'un coup, aujourd'hui, ça augmente beaucoup les complications.
The brain has reached the target volume. Now it's time to replace the bone structure. It takes 210 screws to secure the new cranium. The child spent 12 hours in the operating room. 3 weeks later, doctors do an MRI. The news is encouraging. The child's brain has doubled in volume. Without a doubt, there is reason for hope. Charles Tisser, CBC News, Montreal.
Now, that little one spent about a month in hospital. Her parents say when she woke up, she was totally herself. She remembered her words, her songs, her smile came easily. She's now at home and is already moving better than she could before. Next, on The National, we'll take you inside a special store in Toronto that was the first of its kind when it opened 30 years ago. A true safe haven, and we'll show you why that matters coming up.
They really feel nice.
Come and stand up.
There. What do you think?
Beautiful. Fantastic. Let's get the dress. Let's get the dress.
First, though, a look at an interview you'll see here on Sunday night. Mark Tewksbury, Canada's first openly gay Olympian. We sat down recently to talk about the future of the Olympics and his reflections 20 years after coming out. Tell me about the couple who recognized you as the gold medalist and were so excited to meet you.
Yes.
And then what happened?
Yeah, I was at a really good friend's wedding, and I was with my partner at the time, and we were at the buffet line. It was incredible. We were just like, oh, Mark Tewksbury, what are you doing here? And I said, let me introduce you to my partner, Benjamin. And it just went like, chill, ice, done, ignored, back turned. It was like, wow. And again, when those things happen, thankfully I live in my world where that doesn't happen all the time, but when it does, it's just that, right back to like fag in the locker in grade 8. It's that initial source of shame and hurt over this whole issue.
Patty Aldredge has stayed in business for more than 30 years by catering to a very special market. With gowns and wigs and the right shoes, she helps almost anyone achieve their perfect look as a woman. And the job takes more than a sense of style and a wide range of sizes. Her shop, called Take a Walk on the Wild Side, has prospered by offering a safe space for patrons to express what they want with no judgment. This award-winning CBC short doc is a window into their world.
Where are you?
Oh, come on back here.
Okay. Oh, there you are.
Hi, honey. How are ya?
How are you? So good to see you.
I've got the perfect pair of shoes for you.
That's perfect.
Now wait here and I'll show you how they match.
Oh my God. Look, the match is just perfect, Patty.
You're doing every detail perfect this time.
It better be. I've been working on this since January.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my God.
You have to match inside and outside. What color is your underwear? Maybe we're going to have to get you some pink underwear.
We don't.
What do you think?
I just won't wear any. How's that? Then it'll match. Then it'll match.
I'll find some pink underwear for you. Wait a second. Wait. Here we go. Pink undies.
I will say one thing, it does match.
I think that's kind of sweet.
I never thought of that. I don't know what else to say.
I'm going to say we're going to get up on the chair and we're going to try on the dress.
Okay. Here we go.
Right up until I was about 40, my mother kept saying, "Are you still stripping?" And I'd go, "Mom, I'm 37. Mom gave it up years ago. At 26, I went back to school to Ryerson. The only reason I went to Ryerson was because I was just a stripper and I wanted to get a degree. After I graduated in 1985, that's when I ran the ad in the paper, "Take a walk on the wild side. Who's that girl? It could be you." An opportunity for a man to be made to look like a woman with makeup and costumes. And the phone rang off the hook. When I had my store in 1987, the first day, August 1st, I had 3 customers booked and 2 costumes. That was it. It was so simple. All we did mostly was talk. And then I did makeup for them, and we talked for an hour. The thing is, people needed to be encouraged. And so I encouraged them. That's a nice perfume.
Gucci.
Yeah. All right, okay. Come on out, come back here.
I just want to quickly take a look at some shoes.
Like, you want leopard?
Oh, no.
What do...
Black, just black.
Just black.
Yeah.
But the,
These look nice. Oh, Patty, they look fantastic. Look at those.
You want to try the other one on?
Why do they call them teacher shoes?
Well, I call them teacher shoes because that's what the teachers I went in grade school, this is what they used to wear.
Really? Oh.
Didn't your teachers wear shoes like
no,
that?
I didn't have, like, kinky teachers. I've seen some other women wearing them. They look great, you know?
Leaning it. Come on, girl.
Lean against what? The wall?
Yeah, just kind of like, yeah, you know. All right, now, you come back and forth and then go into the light and turn around a bit.
Okay, how's that?
Good. Now just relax, no big deal. Yeah, fabulous, fabulous, okay. Nice. Very nice.
Okay.
See, they turned out great.
Oh my. They fit.
Cinderella, here are your slippers.
Oh, they really feel nice.
Come and stand up.
There. What do you think?
Beautiful. Fantastic. Let's get the dress. Let's get the dress. You ready to go up on the table?
Here we go.
Okay.
There.
All right. Now hold on to that little thing. I'm going to get your dress.
Okay.
All right.
Better take these off.
Looks like you're on the diving board. Put your arms in here. Arms in here. Good. No, don't turn around.
Okay.
You leave it up to me.
Okay. Oh, I haven't gained any weight. Good.
And it's beautiful. Perfect.
I'm not that macho, but neither am I that feminine. This is just a side of me that I've always fancied and wondered, could I do it if I really tried? So this is my really try.
And what is the idea of the mask?
It's just like you can be anyone you want to be. instead of someone recognizing the shape of your face. This way, I can be whoever I want to be, and I don't have to say a word. I just became Eve, almost.
People might find another place to buy a wig or another place to buy breast forms, but people still want a store. They can go online, but they want physical contact where they're seeing somebody in the room with them and talking to them. And at the end of the conversation, at the end of the transformation, and I go, so don't worry now, you come back and everything, and I won't tell anybody. And they look at me and they go, it's okay, I trust you. So I'll be here for a long time to come. And I will have customers for a long time to come.
You can watch more short docs by using CBC's new streaming service, CBC Gem. It offers news programs live as they're broadcast, as well as on-demand content. So check it out at cbcgem.ca. Up next on The National, when 82-year-old Edward Shepard's home was broken into, his guitar was stolen. It was a gift from his late wife, so his family in Stephenville Crossing, Newfoundland, searched for days, but without any luck.
I really hoped that through all the people that I know there, and I have a very large family there as well, that somehow we would be able to track it down. And unfortunately, a couple of days passed and that didn't happen.
Well, something changed today. Find out what happened next in our moment. But first, in case you missed it, while Prince William inspected cadets today at the Royal Military Academy, the world was getting a new look at his young family. The image from their personal Christmas card lets you catch up on all three kids, though Prince George seems intent on stealing that show. It's become a tradition for Kensington Palace to release these images. Here's Prince Charles and Camilla in a suitably traditional pose. But the newest royal married couple went in another direction. Their Christmas card is a shot from their wedding day that hasn't been seen until now. Watching fireworks away from the crowd in what may have been their first private moment of that busy day. People really analyze these images, anything royal, really, noting the modern tone, that they're not even looking at the camera. Next year's greeting should have one more royal for everyone to check out. Edward Shepard loved his guitar. It was a reminder of his late wife, something she'd spent years saving up for. It was also one of the last gifts she gave him before she died. So when someone stole it from his home in Stephenville Crossing, Newfoundland, he was heartbroken. His family and friends searched high and low but could not find it. But then two famous Newfoundlanders threw themselves into the mix, and today the 82-year-old veteran got another gift, this one unexpected. That is our moment.
I was really just trying to get Dad's guitar back for him because he, to be honest, none of us have a lot of money to keep replacing things like that, for sure.
When I first heard about Mr. Shepard, I thought, well, right away, we don't do enough for our veterans, and we can't do enough for our veterans.
Everything happened in an instant. I was at work and there were text messages and notifications coming from everywhere.
So I put it out on Twitter, and right away my good friend Alan Doyle said, I've got a guitar I used to play in Great Big Sea. He can have that.
He called me just now and told me that Alan Doyle was going to give my dad his guitar.
So tomorrow, Alan Doyle, just like Santa coming down the chimney, is going to drop off this guitar too.
He wrote Dad a note, and he sent me a picture of the guitar in the case, and he has a note on the top for my dad, so that was really good. I know it's not the same one, and it's not as special because it wasn't from Mom. He said, no, but it's equally special now because of all the people that are helping to help me out. Newfoundland people are the best people on the planet. I said it before, and I say it again.
Not only are they the best people on the planet, it seems they're also the fastest. That story only went up this morning, and that's what's happened in the few hours since. They mentioned there that there wasn't a lot of money. His wife rolled coins for years to save money for that guitar. He was embarrassed to tell his family he'd lost it because he was so upset, but some stories end well. That is a national for December the 14th. Good night.